I don't know if the average working class is like constantly competing with their peers that they're working with. They might be. It's been a long time since I worked like a normie job, but I'm trying to think of my normie jobs. I was never really like battling. I don't know.
Brain.
Facebook has the classic Silicon Valley office style. There are games to give your brain a rest from programming, or you can ripstick and work on a knotty coding problem at the same time.
We have open.
You don't know? I mean, are like a lot of like, well, I'm going through it. Like, are food workers constantly battling each other? I mean, I guess if you're a server working for tips, there's like a competitive level there for sure. I'm trying to think of like what other jobs are like super like competitive with your coworkers. People don't care anymore. Sales? Yeah. Sales, sure. Boxing? Real. Selling drugs? Real. Cab drivers? I think less so than like tips or like sales. Hairstylists? No, I don't think hairstylists are trying to undermine each other at their workplace, but maybe strippers? Yeah, okay. I'll buy on that. Okay, I'll buy.
Time that's free for employees or interns.
The rooms Google has created include ski gondolas in the Zurich office, a pub-like meeting room in Dublin, and a sidewalk cafe in Istanbul.
No workplace is complete without a nap.
I think part of my problem is like my normie jobs I really enjoyed. My normie jobs I fucking loved. Right? Like the two first normie jobs I had were I was a tennis instructor, which I fucking best job I've ever had in my life. Best job I've ever had in my life. And then I was a bouncer, and I really liked being a bouncer too. Like both those jobs I really enjoyed. And then when I got out to like LA, every job I did within entertainment, I fucking hated. I hated. You were a bouncer? Yes, for a very short period of time. How many clients did you fuck? I did not fuck any. Because I taught children. Thank God.
This is a conference room in here.
It's the idea behind this is the employees should own their individual space and be as creative as possible, and we shouldn't get in the way.
Yes, what a dream it must have been to get laid off by some crisscross applesauce 20-something inside of the Android mascot play place.
A big turning point.
At Will Neff, you short? I think I'm average height. I'm 5'11". I think that's average, right? Maybe under average? I don't know. I don't know what average is anymore.
It was the day that Elon Musk took over Twitter, now known as X, and declared this was going to be a hardcore work environment, and anyone who didn't want to sleep under their desk could
How long have you played tennis? My whole life.
Quit now.
Margaret O'Mara is a professor and historian of Silicon Valley, and the man that she is referring to is Elon Reeve Musk, a South African internet personality.
5'9" is average. You're tall, dog. I don't think I'm tall, but...
Born in 1971.
That kind of...
Are you good at pickle or paddle then? Yeah, I'm phenomenally good at pickleball. I almost took a game off the number 50 player in the world.
Gave permission for other companies to swing away from a kind of kinder, gentler capitalism, let's call it, and say, yeah, if we're going to really be, really compete, let's get down to basics. Let's work on developing and shipping product, and that's going to require a lot of hard work.
Indeed, when it comes to what some young startup employees have called the Great Lock-In, Elon may actually have just been the last straw to, how you say, gag the camel. But it's not just Musk that's got these keyboard warriors sweating it out.
There's another dynamic going on in San Francisco too called escaping the permanent underclass. And it's this idea that the gains of the AI boom are going to go to a top few and everybody else.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Is going to live in virtual serfdom.
Riot.
Oh, God. No. Fuck.
Jetta is a reporter for the San Francisco Standard, covering tech culture in Silicon Valley, who introduced me to some very chill-sounding ideas.
Some tech
Some very chill sounding ideas.
Those I meet are kind of like, I
That's the goal now. What are we doing? Where are we going? Permanent underclass.
need to work really hard right now so I can escape the permanent underclass, and they truly believe that that's the direction the world is going in.
Now, I don't know if any of you folks have heard of something called AI, but it's a technological development that is causing the great people of San Francisco to go bat fucking sane. There's a belief spread.
What the fuck was
People
that?
of San Francisco to go bat fucking sane. There's a belief spreading across certain sects of the valley that once AI gets smart enough, it will divide the world into two groups: a permanent underclass of unemployed
Oh,
people.
wait a minute. Hassan visited here, didn't he? I've seen this picture before.
People who have had their jobs taken over by artificial intelligence, and a small group of super rich people who built the one super AI to rule them all for the rest of time. And while all this sounds like a shitty YA novel set to turn into an even shittier movie, there are admittedly some objective reasons an anxious young software engineer might come to this conclusion. Like how right now the big tech kahunas keep firing people and blaming the layoffs on advances in artificial intelligence, while dozens of AI startups are turning their founders into billionaires.
You're constantly being fed the narrative like by these big companies like Microsoft saying like, you know, we're replacing a bunch of our early to mid-level engineers with AI, right?
Maceo Quick. Well, he's a software engineer and startup founder in
Damn, great name. Maceo Quick.
New York City, who started his career working long hours at a tech startup.
You're thinking, I am 21, I just graduated college, I don't have a ton of work experience. If AI does replace a bunch of software engineers, I'm definitely not high on the totem pole. Like, I'm probably going to be one of the people who's struggling to find a job. And when you have that kind of anxiety in the back of your mind, it's pretty easy to put off like, oh, I'll live life later. Maybe, you know, especially at startups, the whole mindset is if this makes it big, I'm gonna become a multimillionaire, right? Even when I was applying for that job and I was looking at interviewing with other startups, it was more common than not to be 996. So it would be more uncommon for them to be like, yes, we have great work-life balance.
And for those who are unaware, 996 is what?
9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week.
For work.
Jesus Christ. Brother. Okay. My normal working class, is that what it is? Just across the board right now? No. Okay. 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 My working class. I mean, listen, I'm asking a question to the people in the workforce. Listen, dude, I'm not going to do what all the other fucking streamers do and pretend I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, man, I remember, you know what I mean? Like, come on. I'm in a goddamn masturbatorium gaming chamber right now. Okay. Sometimes I will ask if I don't have the insight. Hey guys, sorry I was late for stream. I was finishing baling some hay. You know what I mean? Come on. I can ask a question. I'm allowed to do that.
For working.
Just straight working.
Yes.
The so-called 996 work schedule was popularized by big Chinese tech firms like Alibaba and ByteDance. Then American companies.
You got soft hands, brother. You got soft hands.
Imported it from China, even though it sucks. And since then, it's become one of those.
Respect it because most aren't asking. Yeah. The other thing that happens is most streamers think that they know everything, which is crazy. I wasn't even confident enough to talk about comic books for the first, 7 years of my fucking career. That's you? No. That's not me. I talk about the things I know. I know video games, I know movies, and I know music. Outside of that, I'm really not given that many hardline football. Yeah, well, football, that's my autistic interest. But outside of that, I'm not really ever talking that way about baseball or basketball. I'm not really talking that way about like show tunes. I'm not talking that way about politics for sure. You know what I mean? sandwiches. Okay, if you go through all the things that I have intense passions about, well, yes, I have opinions about those things.
Half meme, half reality things where people post a ton just to show off how hard they grind. How much of this
Turkish men? Yeah, I know my way around a Turkish penis. That's not my fault.
is like people being performative online, and how much of it is people actually prescribing to a true, proper Chinese 996 schedule?
It's funny, yeah, we've got Chinese peptides, Chinese work culture, what's actually really happening here. But basically, I would say a large part of it is performative, and so, you know, and we can sort of get up in arms about, it's like, oh, like, they're performative.
Tell me more about Michigan, guy from New York. I've never said I'm a Michigan authority. My family's from Michigan, and I spent all my summers there.
Pending those sorts of things.
Jaden Clark is a podcast host and Silicon Valley commentator known as Creatine Cycle on Twitter, where he's exposed to thousands of...
And I didn't even live in, like, mainland fucking Michigan. I literally lived on an island with a population of 200. It was the worst. I could tell you about deep isolation.
Tech bros bragging about their workload.
There actually is a little bit of utility to
That's
it.
honestly why I started working so early. It was so that I wouldn't have to go to Beaver Island during my summers. I started working at like 15, and I would work all summer so that I wouldn't have to go to Beaver Island. And I had that same job till I was like 23.
When you kind of dig a little bit, you might be performing for VCs, for example, so venture capitalists, right? If you can sort of display your grind set, a lot of decision makers, a lot of VCs.
What the fuck is Beaver Island, a summer camp? No, it's legitimately a ultra remote island in the Upper Peninsula that like no one goes to or lives on. Do you regret it now? Yeah, I would say yes. I would have spent a lot less time as a child on Beaver Island. Yes, 100%. Yes, it was like the Overlook Hotel. I was on my own for full summers, just with nothing to do.
A lot of LPs tend to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. A lot of VCs tend to spend a lot of time on X.com.
Just
so
drugs?
Really is
Brother, I was 5.
just like a surface area thing. And I would say, you know, if it helps you get in front of these VCs, half of the battle is just getting the meeting when it comes to raising venture capital. And so if that converts to a meeting, great. You know, that I would say job done. Do you risk coming across as cringe? Yes. Are VCs cringe a lot of the time? Also, yes.
Folks, you ever wonder if there's more out there? If there's more to this life than just work and friends and the touch of a loved one and nature and happiness, well, I'm here to tell you that there is. There are more investigations out there, more interviews, more answers questioned. And it's all on patreon.com/goodwork.
Patreon.
That's right, this wondrous universe still has more for you to discover. Like our live investigation into the aesthetic empowerment and closeted homosexuality of looksmaxing. Being an incel, that is not the worst thing that you can be in the looksmaxing community. Extended interviews.
Essentially meaning, is this event going to happen or won't it?
Exactly. So
and full YouTube videos that don't have overly dramatic advertisements smack dab in the middle of them. So come on, you look great, and we'd love to see you there. So sign up today at patreon.com/goodwork.
I went on vacation on Beaver Island as a kid and thought it was sick. Yeah, I mean, Beaver Island can be fun, except for when you're there for multiple months on end.
Mwah. If you're a burgeoning tech startup, you want hardworking employees. That's Philippians 4:13. But you also want $100 million bestowed upon you by the Pantheon.
Like, I'll say this. I love Beaver Island now. Now that I'm older and like I need the time to just relax and you know, be in nature. Now I love it. When I was younger, it was tough.
Of Silicon Valley gods known as venture capitalists. And that's one of the reasons LinkedIn and X are flooded with companies, founders, and engineers trying to publicize that they'll do nothing except drink
Little St. Beaver Island, I was 5!
and vibe code until they've excreted the next software unicorn. And while this might seem pretty hardcore to those who grew up around Google cuddle puddles, it actually harkens back to the founding era of Silicon Valley.
One historical parallel comes with the semiconductor industry in the 60s and 70s, the kind of the original industry that put the silicon into Silicon Valley. These companies like Intel, Fairchild Semiconductor, AMD, some ones that are still making chips today. Those were notoriously hardworking places. It was noticed whose car was the first in the parking lot in the day and the last one to leave at night. The people who ran those companies, many of them went on to found some of the marquee venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. And VCs are really set the tone for the culture. And, when they are investing in new founders, the next generation, picking the winners, they're not only giving them money, they're giving them mentorship. And they're like, hey, here's how you run a company.
So every tech CEO thinks they need to run shit like Steve Jobs. Oh, 100%. 100 fucking percent. 100%.
Culture you want to drive towards. So that chip-making DNA, kind of imagine Army barracks meets Mad Men, and that's kind of what the vibe was back then. And it was pretty
Did you watch
hardcore.
Blackberry? I loved Blackberry.
I often do imagine that kind of scenario. I keep that in my front of mind all the time. Indeed, the culture of today's Silicon Valley represents less the
Steve
kumbaya.
Jobs was just a marketing guy, and they succeeded despite him.
I don't know if that's completely true, but
A work-life balancing act of 10 years ago, and more its hard-nosed roots fertilized with techno-punk testosterone fluid. It's a new dawn. Primary colors have been replaced by blacks and grays. CEOs say the
Anywho, I'm going to bed. Go get some sleep, Big Lawson.
word, and they're obsessed with bodybuilding and jujitsu and puffing raw meat.
I think the big shift that has happened now is that tech has taken on some darker undertones. It's now a power player in the White House. It's determining geopolitics. Tech bros are very self-serious. They see themselves as statesmen, and they want to work not on software but
What's
on
your favorite part of the U.S. nature-wise? Montana, by a landslide. Montana is so fucking sick.
hardware and on technology that is going to change war. I had a quote in a story I wrote about how the young AI kids don't want to go to Burning Man anymore, when that used to be the rite of passage that every young founder wants to go to. And I'm going to read this out verbatim because it's so good. He said, "The current culture is no drinking, no drugs, 996, lift heavy, run far, marry early, track sleep, eat steak and eggs."
Jesus Christ.
I have a tramp stamp that also says that. So here's the situation, folks. The era of plush-walled open office spaces you can build a pillow fort in is over. If you have one in your office, light it on fire and replace it with a shrine to White Monster. Because if you want big money in Silicon Valley, you're gonna have to be a serious company built by serious people who also love shitposting on the worst social media site in existence. Fortunately, there's a whole new generation who loves shitposting on the
Violence. AI doesn't do a 90-hour work week. We do 100-hour work days. Oh, bleh.
worst social media site in existence. Fortunately, there's a whole new generation of freshly dropped out engineers who are willing to do whatever it takes to earn cash from the powers that be, because they think that if they're not part of building the super AI of the future, they're condemning themselves and their descendants to live in perpetual servitude. I should know. I got 4 of them living in my basement right now, suckling on protein mush like hamsters and vibe coding the god AI until we're all billionaires.
Oh, yeah,
Investors,
wow,
my line is open.
Forever fuck the tech
for good
industry.
work.
I'm a
I'm
Bay
Dan
Area
Tune.
native who was priced out of the town that I
Yeah,
grew up
bro.
in. Fuck these assholes.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Brutal. That did not make me feel good.